Another parliamentary week is over, and we are here with the chamber to bring you all you need to know about what has been happening this week in Parliament, the House of Legislative Assembly, where you've elected your representatives to actually legislate and make laws on your behalf. This is the chamber. My name is Mensah Opoku. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's been a week where a lot of energy and attention has been concentrated on debating the 2020 budget. So for the 5 parliamentary sittings we've had this parliamentary week, each and every day has been devoted, quite a number of hours, has been devoted to debating the budget in its various sectors, from finance and economy to agriculture to sports to health and education and all of that. For more on this debate and others, let's go for the recap of the major stories making headlines in Parliament this week.
The Minister of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Mensah Opoku, who touted the Akufo-Addo government's achievement in the agri sector, said prudent measures put in place have yielded some positive results.
This approach has worked and worked very well to the extent that now, last year, Ghana was able to export 130,000 metric tons of 19 food items to our neighboring countries as far as Niger, northern Nigeria, Togo, Burkina Faso, and Cote d'Ivoire. Mr. Speaker, the modules that we are talking about, apart from the seed, the food security, has to do with the tree crop development. So, under the Planting for Export and Rural Development, the ministry is working closely with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development through the district chief executives to raise seedlings of 6 crops and distribute them free of charge to farmers. Through this, Mr. Speaker, 29 million seedlings of these 6 crops have been distributed to farmers free of charge in the last 2 years.
On their part, the minority chastised the government, accusing them of attempt to use some monies from the sector to fund its communicators. Opoku is the minority spokesperson on Agric.
When you go to page 233, we have been provided with a list of flagship programs. Among the list is an interesting, very interesting program called Government Communication. Mr. Speaker, that program is to cost the Ghanaian taxpayer 6 million Ghana cedis, an equivalent of 60 billion cedis. But Mr. Speaker, information on this program is scanty in the budget, and to erase the impression that in an election year, government intends using state resources to pay MPP communicators, we demand further and better particulars.
The debate on the 2020 budget statement and financial policy entered day 4 with a focus on education and other selected areas. Ranking member on the Education Committee of the House, Peter Nuchukoto, bemoaned what he calls the neglect of basic education under the Akufo-Addo administration.
The Ministry of Education, as a matter of urgency, must make sure that the textbooks are provided. The first term of this academic year started in September, and we are entering December, getting to the end of the first term, there are no textbooks. Mr. Speaker, what do we expect the teachers to use to teach our children?
For his part, Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Yawose Educhuma, outlined the successes of the Akufo-Addo administration in the education sector.
Now you have a president who says, I don't like the piecemeal approach to education reform. And to bring about transformation, I don't want you to just look at the curriculum. I want you to look at how students are taught instruction. I want you to look at the quality through the lens of assessment and be able to provide the critical data that is needed for us to reform education. And by the way, he's also saying, why don't you ensure that we decentralize education in this country? So we don't have to go from Accra to Jachi in order for us to know what is going on. That the local people will have a say in how education is administered, and they will be able to ensure that the quality that has eluded us over the years, that has led to the 0.44 human capital index will be a thing of the past.
The matter of the quality of food served under the free SHS policy in some senior high schools also came up for debate.
Mr. Speaker, I spoke about the issue of overcrowded dormitories, overcrowded classrooms, lack of furniture, stress on teaching and non-teaching staff who have been in school since September last year and have not received any reprieve in terms of rest. Mr. Speaker, another issue that is of importance is the quality of the food that is supplied. And we are told that there are instances where expired food items
You'll be concluding.
are supplied to students. Mr. Speaker, is this the best we can do? Is it not reasonable that we address the challenges bedeviling the Free Senior High School so that we can make it better?
Talking about expired food products being served to students, and I would like to know where this information is coming from so that we can take action.
He knows it is true. Mr. Speaker, this incident was not only reported to us.
The burden is upon you.
It wasn't reported to us in only one school.
Honorable,
There were several schools.
Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, Tuobodom Senior High School and Techima as well, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, it will be reflected in your committee's report from when we present it to you.
On the floor of the House, debate on the 2020 budget entered day 5 with a focus on roads.
How many roads in this country that needed to be done? So far, this government did not prove, and this budget doesn't show any sign that this is a year of road for this government, because the monies allocated to the road ministry is paltry and cannot pay even the arrears, let alone building additional 2,200 kilometers of new road at the cost of $2.4 billion, Mr. Speaker. I shudder to say, this is not a year of road for Ghana. This is just a year of propaganda. And we tell the road minister, come back to the House or go to your office, negotiate with the finance minister, get the money to the contractors to do the road. Shortcutting doesn't build road. You can't build road with propaganda, but you build roads with resources.
Mr. Speaker, if the construction industry is not growing, as the ranking member just said, it is because of what they left behind. Mr. Speaker, the roads. If you come to this August House and ask the House to approve a syndicated loan for cocoa of 5.6 billion Ghana cedis, and you ended up awarding contracts that's supposed to be paid, but cocoa board alone as 5.1 billion, it means if for the whole cocoa season, if cocoa board is not buying beans, if cocoa board is not buying cocoa inputs, what it means is that we have to use the whole syndicated loan to construct roads.
Then foreign affairs and sports.
The revelation at paragraph 801 that 139 Chinese illegal miners were arrested and deported in the fight against Galamsey. That is disappointing. September 20, President said Aisha Huang's deportation was a mistake. We expected it to end there. 139 is worrying.
I will be first to admit that 2019 had been a very difficult year, and it took a government intervention, the government tactfulness for this country to escape FIFA ban. Why? Because you were here that all of us were hit by the Anas expose, where some alleged malfeasance were revealed. The Speaker, tactfully, the government undertook the assignment of ensuring that this country does not have international isolation.
The senior staff of the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, withdrew emergency services on Thursday with a further pledge to embark on a strike if debts owed the company are not settled. The latest to join this call for the settlement of the debt is the minority. Adam Mutoakilu is the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee.
I know they are human beings, and I listen to the chairman, and I know that any little move by government, they will pay heed to what the Ghanaians would like them to do. And that is why I'm calling on government. While they are hosting red bands and flags, I expect that they will give some time to see the response of government. And I thought by now, government should have assured them that they will be release the funding needed to enable them operate efficiently.
So you've seen the major stories that came up in Parliament. It's all about the budget and some other issues. This is the Chamber. Stay with us. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back from the break to From the Floor segment. In this edition on the floor, we are actually bringing the debate to you from Parliament on the December 17th referendum. The referendum that will determine whether we should vote for MMDCs on partisan basis. Are you voting yellow for yes or brown for no? And what are really the arguments behind these viewpoints? I have two members of Parliament on either side of the debate. One supports yes, yellow. The other supports no, that's brown. I have with me the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Ododo constituency. He's ranking member on the Local Government and Rural Development Committee. And he's also a former Deputy Local Government Minister. The Honourable Mensah. You're welcome, sir. Also joining us to do a debate today is the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Ablekuma Central constituency, here also in the Greater Accra region, the Honourable Gilbert Ebenezer Nate. You're welcome, sir. So let's begin the debate. Parliament began this whole process with the amendment of the Constitution, which would set in motion the elective principle. That debate was done in July as to whether we should really, the question of voting or electing MMDCs at all. Honourable Neil Antivanapa, can you tell us where we are with this process?
First, let me say thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to express my opinion and that of my minority group as far as this issue is concerned. First, let me place on record that the issue of election of MMDCs has been on the drawing board of Ghanaian politics for a long time. I remember as far back as 1992, during the presidential campaign, Mr. Edubuain, for example, one of the issues he brought up was the need for us to elect MMDCs. At that time, we thought that Ghana's local governance had not gone too far because we started a local government system from 1988 and we thought that we're not as a country experienced enough. So let's continue with the system and see how we can perfect it. And we thought that the local government system should be insulated from political interference. And that's why in the promulgation of the Constitution, we put that in Article 55(3) that political parties can do everything but sponsoring candidates and getting involved in local governance is there. It's based on the fact that we thought that at that time our local government system need to grow and let Ghanaians appreciate the need, because our local government system had grown out of what we had under the colonial government, the indirect rule system, where the colonial government was ruling the country and the local government system through our chiefs. So we thought we would develop that one further. Subsequently, certain countries like Uganda, Rwanda, Sierra Leone have come to learn from us. You know, most countries that have perfected the local government system have perfected local government system under the federated system, but we have a unitary state, and so you are building a political structure on a non-political local government system. So you need to perfect it in order to insulate it from political interference.
But we don't think we need that anymore. That's why this debate has
over the period, experiences have shown that there is a need for us to enhance it. Not that we don't need it, enhance it. Enhancing it means that political patronage have still filtered into it, that deserving people do not get the opportunity to become MMDCs. Also, political, we don't really have what we call people who are apolitical to be able to contribute to the development at the local level. We have even corrupted the 30% government appointees to complement the professionalism of the assembly. So the 30% was said that there were certain professionals who are within the jurisdictions of the MMDAs but wouldn't want to subject themselves to elections and all this campaign and all those things.
So that you get that class in there into the assembly.
But if the assembly needs an engineer, and in the whole assembly setup, after the elections, they could not get somebody who has a qualified background in engineering, then in appointing and nominating 30%, you could add an engineer who will bring his expertise to help the assembly. So that was the same. But along the line, all these have. So we said that, look, if these things have failed, in 2004 elections, almost all the political parties started talking about the fact that they will want an election of MMDCs. What preempted that was the fact that it got to a time when party foot soldiers were determining who should be an MMDC. When government appoints her, they could go to the assembly and drive the person off. We don't want this person. We don't want this person. So, in order to avoid all this, why don't we subject the people to election? 2, if you also give the person a security of tenure and the person is elected, it helps the person with the confidence to be able to discharge his duties without fear or favor. But today, when you know that the president can sack you, dismiss you at his will, sometimes you tend to shift your loyalty to the appointing authority instead of to the people who you are supposed to serve. So that is basically the reason why.
So I will come to you. Let's go straight into the arguments. Your party and your government is sponsoring this. This was a campaign promise in 2016. The president or the MPP in their manifesto stated that they were going to push the election of MMDCs, even though this particular manifesto, 2016 manifesto, did not say it was going to be done on partisan basis. Why is the MPP saying that now we should vote yes to support the election of MMDCs on partisan basis? Why?
Thank you very much. I think that in the respect of the MNDC being elected, there's a prerogative right of the president to appoint somebody to become a minister chief executive. When a person is being appointed, we have about 10 or 15 assembly members voting to confirm the person to become an MNDC or not. But in Parliament, we need to do the amendment, the internal position that give the president the power to appoint. Now we are taking that power from the president. As Honorable Lanty said, the president will not sit in the comfort of his home and then appoint you to become an MNDC. And then you go to the assembly and you be confirmed. And after you have been confirmed, within 3, 4, 5 months, youth in that district agitating that, look, we don't want you because whatever he or she wants, he doesn't get it. So the president is saying that, no, let's take that power from me, go and elect your own MNDCs. We have added the political parties to it because as I'm speaking with you, and then I'm telling you, no, we all used to be under AMA. I used to be under AMA. And he is still, as a member of parliament, I'm a member of the assembly. Fortunately, now I have a municipal, so he is still under AMA. He knows very well, very, very well, that when you go to AMA today, we have the NDC assembly members and MPP assembly members. I can tell you with authority that even on the 17th December election that we are going to do for electing of assembly members, it is partisan.
Really?
It is really partisan.
We don't see parties sponsoring any candidate.
That is the hypocrisy. That is the hypocrisy of both parties. I know in my constituency, and I'll not come and sit on this big station and just lie. In my constituency, I have hold people's hands and say that yes, this is the person I want him to become an assemblyman.
This is what the person the party supporting.
Is the party supporting? You see, we shouldn't come and pretend as if we don't know what is going on. I can tell you, we have 7 electoral areas in my constituency. The NDC in my constituency conducted an election to elect their candidate to represent them for the assembly election. So, why are we hiding? Why are we pretending as if that we are not doing what we are calling for it now? That is why we are saying that, look, we have been doing the hypocrisy for too much. We are trying to be smart to the public for far too long. Now let us be open.
But there are a lot of things which also go on in our society, which people know is going on, but we have not taken the step to make it legal.
Like what?
Oh well, I don't want to cite some examples. I mean, people know that people smoke in this country. Yes. It's against the law. People do it now. Yes. There are calls for it to be legalized so that we can reap economic benefits out of that. Because it's happening underground, should we elevate it and say that?
If you are using that the question that you have to ask yourself, what is the end result of those people? We're talking about different issue altogether. We're talking about
maybe my example is wrong, but the fact that things are being done does not mean that we should take steps. The fact that it's happening does not mean that we should take steps to legalize it, to make it work.
I agree with you on that score, but I'm saying that in this assembly, the unit committee and assembly election, it is purely partisan.
Look at how monetized recently even the NDC primaries were. Now you want unit committee members, parties to conduct primaries for unit committees, to conduct primaries for assembly members to conduct. Can you imagine the kind of the confusion?
When we are able to finish with the referendum, the other modality as to how to elect candidates will flow. We will know whether the NDC will be doing primaries, or the NPP will be doing primaries, or the other political parties will be doing primaries to elect a candidate to go and contest. But as I'm saying, even on the floor of the House, check the Hansard. On 29th of July, both the minority leader, the deputy, the chief whip, and then the member of parliament for Boko, Honorable Ayariga, supported that yes, indeed, there's a need for us to make it partisan because we are deceiving ourselves as Ghanaians. And we are deceiving the public that this is not partisan. Meanwhile, we hide behind it and we'll be doing it. So why not we do it in a proper perspective? That everybody will say that yes, indeed, this is purely partisan and we are going by this particular. That's the most important. That is why I will be calling for all of you that on the 17th of December you vote, including my own brother, my senior brother.
Okay, Honorable Nilanti, but the accusation against the NDC is that your party has been very hypocritical. Now, I mean, it was during an NDC government under President Mills that a white paper was issued and said you should select people from a party, go to Public Service Commission, and then they'll be brought for people to vote. That is not exactly the shape and form that this new election is taking. That's number one. Two, we've been told, and actually I was here in Parliament during the debate, when both parties agreed on the elective principle, and both parties agreed on the elective principle. Both parties agreed that MMDC should be elected.
In Parliament here, we have 106 members in the minority. The fact that Aaron Ibisu spoke about doesn't mean that I spoke about it.
But he was communicating the position of the minority.
It's a debate. It's a debate. If I have been called by the speaker, I will have professed another opinion.
Are you saying that when the minority leader gets up to speak in Parliament, he speaks his own views and not that of the minority? Is that your contention today?
You could not have imagined what I would say. But let's take it for granted. Even if Aaron Adisu said that, today, what is the position of the NDC? The NDC's position is that, yes, we are for the election of MMDCs, which could happen with amendment of Article 2431, 2433, 242, 244, 248. Once we amend 241 and all the consequential amendments are done, we can easily elect MMDCs without any hindrance.
But the contention is that you are shifting goalposts. You have never believed in this.
Doesn't matter.
And you are just taking the populist position.
If today I'm a Christian and tomorrow I become a Muslim, what changes?
That is politics without principles.
What do you mean by politics without principles? Does it mean politics means that somebody might be static in opinion? It's only the fool doesn't change his mind. After consulting with other people, because don't assume that the 106 of us here in this house are the most intelligent people in the NDC. NDC has people outside who may be more intelligent than us, but the fact that they do not, or they are not MPs, doesn't mean they can. So we consulted further with people in the party, our grassroots, our party people who gave us the mandate to be here, and we've come to the conclusion. The party's conclusion today is that yes, we are for election of MMDCs, but we are against politicization of the local governance system. And so we are urging our supporters on the 17th of December to vote no against making the local governance system political.
The argument is that
let me give you an argument. I can give you
it is being said that the NDC just wants to get back at government because there was consensus all along, especially when this referendum requires 40% turnout and requires 75% yes or no to go through. Mensah. And you know that without the mobilization of the political parties, it is very difficult.
Why are you hassling over the issue and NDC has changed his mind? We sat in this chamber. You were a reporter here when we passed the Mary deal. Katie Hammond was the ranking member. He supported it and supported the motion. Didn't they come back to the house to change their
Because
mind?
they had uncovered new technical evidence.
We also have uncovered new opinions that have reshaping our opinion about the whole thing. And we are saying today that we are against politicization of the local government
Why?
system.
Give us the reasons. Why?
One.
Why?
Two. I'm going to give you two opinions, which are very, very clear. Simple. If you say that you are amending 55(3) in order to politicize and give political parties opportunity to interfere with the local government system, what you're actually doing is the fact that you are going to entrench the so-called polarization of our system politically. Today, you and I agree that Ghana, as we see today, everything is polarized. My brother here talking nice. Me and him are nice. We are brothers. But when you get to politics in our area, we are more than enemies at each other's throat. And I have lived it. I have experienced it. When I was Deputy Minister for Local Government, and we even brought up National Sanitation Day, it was seen as an NDC project. MP people did not participate in community work. And if you don't do that, two, there are so many Ghanaians who doesn't want to have anything to do with the way we do our politics.
They can contest as independent candidates.
Yeah. Contest as what?
They can
So
contest
give them
as
the opportunity
independent
to go and contest as independent candidates at
But
as MMDC.
doing MPP and this, that's something
The
they can
truth of the matter is
contest.
that you agree with me that with how many independent candidates have been successful in this country? How many? How many people? In fact, the last 2016 elections, did you have even one independent candidate? No. It's not. And I can give you the history behind independent candidates in this country. If you want me to go in under the Fourth Republic, I can give you the history. I can tell you why those people won. Who told you they are genuinely independent? They are political disgruntled elements, so left with their supporters. And if the person is generally popular within the constituency, it doesn't matter which particular ticket he stands on. You understand me? Ebenezer sitting here, if tomorrow he is unhappy with his party structure in his constituency and he decides to go independent, ask him whether he could not win. So it doesn't mean that the person is independent in nature. He has broken away from his party structure.
So your contention is that the totally independent, apolitical, independent-minded people cannot win an election in this country.
Two, do you know that confusion is going to cause? You have just talked about monetization. It's going to be worse at that level than MP. Do you know why? More resources is going to go down there. More resources than that is available.
But the parties could decide that they will not even run primaries. They are going to use other means to select candidates. What about that? We've not got into the break.
He's talking about
Why are we trying to cross
He's talking about hypocrisy. Ask him that does he get the opportunity to run his primaries without money? It's not true. The hypocrisy we are talking about is infested our political system. And we are saying that let's insulate our local governance from politics, because that's the only place we can truly, as a people, engender development. And if you're not careful and we continue, we let this sort of politics we are doing at the national level permeate into the local level, even development in the local level will be endangered. Because look, today as we see today, we are even politicizing the National House of Chiefs.
That has come up.
It has come up.
That has come up, yes.
You understand? So I'm saying that we should be careful. We should be able to insulate certain things. I have always said, look, if you're not careful, tomorrow people will even ask political party you belong to in order to contest assembly elections. My brother is saying it. I know that he supported those people. He's supporting those people because he believes those people could help him send development to the people on the ground, because as an MP, that is the next layer of development. I don't believe he's supporting those people because they are MPP supporters.
But he said it. Are you not supporting some people in Odododio?
I've not supporting anybody. I've refrained myself from supporting a candidate.
You don't have any interest in the local elections.
In a particular electoral area, I may have two people contesting. Why should an MP show support for one candidate? When that person loses,
so are you saying on record that you are not pushing resources into any assembly member or any junior committee member contestants election?
If I can go and ask Odododio, my constituency, there are 3 people, for example, in an electoral area who are contesting assembly who all have some links with the NDC.
Oh, so you agree that there are some people who are going to election?
The electoral commissioner didn't he vote for a local party in 2016?
But we don't know their colors.
And that's why we don't know your colors.
So people know their colors.
People know that.
You know
sorry. I know the color of Bosman.
I don't know what you are talking about.
You don't know.
I don't know what
you are being a hypocrite now.
I don't know what you are talking about. Yes. You may want to have some rebuttals with what he has said quickly.
Honorable Nilanti was asking if there have been any successful independent candidate. Yeah, there is.
Which one?
One just even left.
Totally independent.
The first deputy speaker of parliament.
But we know that he broke ranks. We know he broke ranks with the MP.
He stood on a ticket as an independent candidate. He came to parliament.
But we know
today is the first deputy speaker of parliament.
It was a former constituency chairman.
We know he broke ranks with the party. So that's to exemplify the point that he was making.
His first term in parliament, he came as an independent candidate.
But then what did he do?
He's talking about a successful independent candidate.
He was not.
And I'm setting him.
I'm saying a truly independent
somebody who's really independent.
That's a truly independent.
Then we come to the assembly issue. Honorable Nilanti knows very well, and he cannot run away from it, that when you go to the assembly today, we don't have MPP caucus and NDC caucus. He cannot deny that, because he knows that that is a fact.
You see, that is where I'm coming from. Politically, we have degenerated assembly. I was in assembly and the second assembly. Let me tell you. I just want to make a point here. In that second assembly, the 30% nominees to the assembly were involved by Professor Baita, Professor Udasi, Dr. S.K. Asante. Look at these professionals. They didn't come to the assembly on political patronage. You and I sitting here know today that the assembly, the 30% nominees are virtually an extension of party executives.
Exactly. So
you understand?
So
we want to avoid that.
So in that leg, that is why we need to make it open.
No.
Because look, as I'm speaking with you, and as I said, when you go to any municipal and district assembly, let me give you one example. In Ashanti region, either Ashanti or Eastern, I have forgotten the region. They want to elect a presiding member, and they need to appoint a presiding member before the MC
is confirmed.
You understand? And NDC was in power then, about 4 years ago. The MPP assembly members will take the PM, so that you also take the MCE.
Yes, Kumasi, Nana Kenya, Senior.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So that's to tell you, if it is not partisan, then the PM should go. Just in AME, when we created the municipal assemblies, then the AMA have to come together again and elect a PM. The current PM, known, is not perceived, but known MPP person, had an issue with his other colleagues. It was confirmed. Then in the morning, the NDC caucus also presented a candidate to challenge him.
We don't have a caucus.
You have a caucus.
Why is this?
The issue is that
you
see, the issue is simple.
I have engaged you.
That is not right.
I have engaged you in so many ways when it comes to assembly issues.
Yes.
Recently, when we are going to confirm the mayor, we consulted you because we know that there are people that you can talk to. You can talk to me as a brother. I can talk to you as a brother. So why are we pretending as if that the thing is not what we are talking about? It is. It is clear everywhere.
Eben, look, I agree with you.
As I'm saying,
the truth is the fact
look, I'm a witness to one electoral area in my constituency, Mambrook electoral area. When NDC, that electoral area, conducted a primaries between an incumbent assemblyman and somebody who was going to contest. So
now that we even when we don't have,
I said the incumbents
they are already conducting primaries.
I'm telling you, the incumbents lost, and he said no. Because it is not partisan, I'll still contest, and he's contesting.
Yes. So he says it's not partisan.
You understand? He's contesting. So why, if you are going for no, why do you then go and conduct a primaries?
Sanctioned by the party.
Sanctioned by the party.
Oh, no.
In 2017, sorry, in 2007,
you don't have any proof of the fact the party is sanctioned.
So far as the election was conducted by the constituency secretary and chairman.
In your constituency?
Yes, in my constituency.
Not in my constituency.
Not in your constituency.
Yes.
After your constituency, you and I were not there.
But I was there. You were not there. I was there.
I'm talking about Abdul constituency. So far as being sanctioned by constituency executives, it pre-assumed that the party sanctioned it. In 2007, after the assembly election, in Sunyani, the General Secretary of the NDC said, yes, the NDC has won majority of the assembly members, and therefore, definitely 2008, they will win the 2008 election. And yes, indeed, they won the 2008 election. If it's not partisan, what statistics? How did he know that in all the assemblies that we have at that time, whether it is 216 or whether it's 220, how did the General Secretary of the NDC got to know that, yes, this number of people are aligned to the NDC, and therefore we have one majority at the assembly? So it is clearly.
You see, I agree with you. So let's go. You see, I agree with him on that. He said, let me say this: the fact that we are perpetuating a wrong does not justify why we should politicize the system, because the issues that are disadvantages to the nation and to all of us as a people, politicization of the local governance outweighs this only one principle of the fact that we're already doing it, so let's do it. The fact that me and you are actually making sure, or we are breaking the law. We are breaking the law as political institution. We are breaking the law, and the system has not checked us. Doesn't mean that the system should allow us to continue to break the law. What we are saying is that yes, there will be difficulties with it. Why don't we perfect the system? And one of the perfections of the system is what we are saying, that look, let's take the appointment away. Once we take an appointment away, it will engender people who otherwise wouldn't have availed themselves, because of the fear of political patronage, the opportunity to contest. So that me sitting here, if I see that the prospect of being an AMA mayor is better than being a member of parliament, I will go and contest as AMA mayor and win. You understand? It doesn't mean that I'm contesting with the party support.
Those who are even saying right now that because of the kind of arguments that are even coming up, let's just save money, let parliament do the amendments so that we...
Yes,
so that
the referendum is not necessary.
What do you think about that?
If Parliament does
senior member of government,
yes.
Senior member of the MPP, yesterday made that argument here.
If Parliament does amendments, meaning that
you elect
2021,
yes,
it's still going to be an election, but it's going to be open.
Yes,
that everybody will contest.
So that when you lose your seat, you can go and contest as a
which you know very well. I'm not losing. Which you know very well. But just do a small research on your own. Just take one electoral area or one constituency and move in and check the posters of the assembly aspirants. Just check the posters.
It's a matter of color.
Those who are on the ticket of the MPP are using the MPP color, which is wrong, against the Local Government Act.
Has MPP got colors?
Oh yes.
Which colors?
The brightest colors that you have in this country: the blue, the white, and the red, which you know.
Then the NDC colors.
The NDC colors.
Parties don't deal with colors. Parties deal with symbols.
The party deals with symbols, but in this case, you cannot put a symbol there. So indirectly, let me use the colors. Just check the posters of the NDC candidates that we have.
So if you go to a place and you have three people using
red,
white, and blue, means that all of them are NDC.
Yes.
In wrapping up,
and when you go to where they have NDC, you have their colors: the green, the white, the yellow, the black, and
so what about those who are using red, yellow, green?
Yeah,
they are independent candidates.
Okay. All right. So let's wrap up. You are saying that the referendum should be cancelled.
It's waste of money and time. In fact, what I am even saying that it's even bad for us to have all those 3 elections on a day. It means that one person is going to spend close to about 5 or 7 minutes to vote. If you're not careful, we may end up having people standing in the queue. Already, the assembly elections does not attract many voters.
Because it's non-partisan. People, there is no mobilization.
Yes, you were talking about the fact that NDC supported. One of the reasons why some of our people were talking about that, in order for us, if you want people to vote in the assembly elections, use the 243 as a catalyst to decide. We tell Ghanaians that we've given you the power so that people will come out and vote. It's not because we believe in the principle of politicization of local governance.
Okay, all right. Okay, so he says it should be withdrawn. Do you support that?
For me, I think where we have gotten to,
it should be withdrawn.
And the work that we have done,
it should be withdrawn.
And the campaign that they are all coming on board,
it should be withdrawn.
For us to on the 7th of December 17th of December 2019.
Say it should be withdrawn.
We should vote
no
referendum, and we should go and vote yes, vote yellow. Tell your colleagues to all vote yes, and also you vote for the assembly members in your various electoral areas and the unit committee.
All right. So that's how we wrap up.
Final comment to me. Final comment. I will urge all Ghanaians who believe in the true local governance system to vote no. Vote against politicization of our local governance so that we can have a true and meaningful national cohesion at the local level. Let's vote no. Let's vote brown. All that I will ask is either they withdraw or you vote brown. No.
On the 17th of December is the day of the election. Election that you are going to vote for a total referendum.
You are off.
You have no other option than to vote yes, the yellow. And that is going to make our democracy very strong, very innovative, and all of us will get involved.
Thank you very much. Yes. The Honourable Member of Parliament for Ablekuma Central, Honourable Ebenezer Nate. Thank you very much, Ranking Member of the Local Government Committee, Honourable Nilante Vanderpoel. And to you out there for doing the watch. And this has been the From the Floor segment. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back from that break. Well, this week there are a couple of issues that I want to address. First of all is the matter of this referendum that is coming up. I think that Parliament should increase the momentum with which this whole debate is going on and get Ghanaians to actually understand that they support this process by quickly providing some clarity on the consequential amendments or the consequential things that will be done when Parliament actually effects that amendment. The amendment for DCs and MMDCs to be elected to be elected, because it's the referendum that will actually decide whether they will be elected based on partisan basis or not. So after Parliament has done this amendment or has conducted the debate, has voted and passed by 2/3 majority, the fact that MMDC should be voted on partisan basis, or MMDC should be voted not on partisan basis, MMDC should be voted. What are the other things that are going to happen? What other amendments? I think Parliament needs to provide clarity on that, especially the Local Government Committee and the Committee on Legal, Constitutional and Parliamentary Affairs. Because there are questions coming up. Questions such as what is going to happen to the District Security Council, questions such as what is going to happen to the 30% that the President appoints, the provision about the President being able to also dismiss. All of those ones have not been mentioned. But these are consequential resolutions that will come up as a result of the amendment of the Constitution. I think these parliamentary committees need to provide some clarity on that. Second has got to do with the matter that the Speaker had cause to address this week, and the minority and the majority also had cause to issue press releases about. That's the issue of absenteeism in Parliament. I think it's about time the leadership of Parliament announced measures that will keep this problem, or that will nip this problem in the bud. They can withdraw certain allowances and conditions of service or benefits from MPs who are consistently skipping work in the chamber, because really that affects. Look at the embarrassment that occurred on Tuesday when the Speaker came and had to suspend activities in the chamber for over an hour of parliamentary business or parliamentary business time lost. Can we quantify that? But that was lost because Parliament or members were not in the House, and then as usual it became a blame game. Minority blaming majority, majority blaming minority. There are laws about this. I think Parliament should crack the whip, take some punitive measures, withhold some allowances, withhold some benefits from MPs who are consistently absenting themselves from the House. And then maybe the ultimate prize may be to suggest for the recalcitrant ones to lose their seats, as that is in tandem with what the Constitution says and what is in the standing orders of Parliament. So that's how we wrap up today's edition of The Chamber right here on Citi TV, the only program on television that brings you all you need to know about the happenings in and around the Chamber of Parliament. My name is Mensah Opoku. Until next week, enjoy the rest of our programming and keep watching Citi TV.